No, 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 no. Oh, he tried it.
Hey everybody, it's Kairos. Today I'm doing a special gameplay video to celebrate the channel hitting 100 subs. So thank you so much for your support. If you want to get straight into the gameplay, the timestamp is in the description. But there's an interesting story behind this video. I was actually recording a Warwick gameplay video earlier today, as Warwick's my main, and I finished up that video. I was ready to upload. It was solid Warwick versus Kayn game, where I won through pretty good macro and team fighting and decision making. But then I queued up again, and I ended up on the other side of the matchup, and this is what happened, is this game. So it was a reverse matchup where I was the Kayn against the Warwick, and it ended up being just a great showcase of how pathing can get you really big leads in the jungle. So I decided to upload this one instead. I may be releasing the other video in the future, but I felt this one would be a much more entertaining upload as just a celebration of the 100 subs. So thank you for helping me hit that milestone. Let me know in the comments if you like this style of video and if you'd like to see more of them in the future. Alright, so first off, what I was trying to do is basically looking at the game plan. I just wanted to farm up and become pretty much unkillable. If you look at their team, they have the Warwick, the Ari, the Varus. They have some good team fight tools, but they don't scale incredibly well. But we scale really well. We have a lot of good team fight also to answer that. So the Tristana, I think, would be able to out damage the Varus, and I think that our front to back would be really solid if I'm able to just frontline and to be unkillable. So we went for the invade with the Thresh, and usually I like to put a ward on off of an invade just to spot out their start. But with Kayn, I wanted to just start his Raptors, assuming that he was going to start his red, and then I put the ward down to spot out his rotation if he started blue or if he started red and would walk through that brush. So I end up starting here on Raptors, and then as I'm leaving from this, I decided to go and check his red buff to see if he did start it, and it's still available. So knowing that he started blue and having that ward already there to see when he rotates, I just went ahead and took the red buff. And when he didn't show up yet, I just went ahead and full cleared on his bot side. So this is a pretty big advantage if he doesn't recognize it and match the vertical jungling, which we had the ward up here so that I would know if he showed there. And also the ward spotted him coming through, and I saw that he was still level 2 and only had blue buff. And so if he tries to go invade my blue and match the buff, then I would just kill him. And that's what happened. So he tries to fight me here. He's level 2, has blue buff, not really gonna win that. Usually Warwick has better combat stats, but the red buff is just really strong. So I go ahead and I still have my full jungle to clear. You can't see it on the mini map because it's a little bit bugged, but all 6 of my camps are still up. And then Warwick ganks top right here, and I see that as a signal. I can go invade right here because he committed to top side, and I know that his camps are respawning because I took the first spawn, so I have the timer. And so I kill him, then I go back to pick up the Scuttle Crab, because counter jungling you want to get what is the most dangerous first, and then you fall back to the less dangerous objectives like Scuttle. He ganks top again, and that's an opportunity for me to go take the second spawn of his Krugs. And so I end up going down there, and then at this point I'm more than double, actually I'm right about double his farm. Pretty big gold advantage right here. And on first back I get my coal fields and my boots. And I'm looking at top lane, and I see that Malphite wasn't able to crash this, and so I come up. It's just a super easy gank at this point. And I stay and I help the Shen push this afterward, because Malphite's going to be coming back from base, and the way that it was, this was going to slow push into Malphite, and so I tried to help him crash it. We were a little bit off on the timing, but we wanted to push this into Malphite so that he couldn't freeze it and get an advantage. He ends up trying to freeze. It's kind of like, it's okay. And then once I see the Drake is killed, I go in for invade. There aren't any camps up, but I still get that deep control ward, which is helpful. And I still have my full top side up at this point. So I just go full clear my top side. And then something that's really important here is we traded buffs on our first clear. I took his buff, his red buff, he took his blue buff to start. So they're both respawning here, and when you do this, the worst thing you can do is go farm your own camps. You want to keep the pressure on because he can't defend both of his buffs because they spawn at the same time. And so here I decide to just pressure on his top side, and it's pretty clear that he started on his red buff, and so I go clear his blue buff, put a ward down right here to see him coming through, and then I pull this Gromp up out of vision so that he can't see me while I'm taking it. There's not really much that I could do in top because they had 2 people up there, and Warwick was also on his way, so I just gave that up. I tried to contest Herald here, but I was a little bit too slow coming out onto the map, and we're not able to get anything done. So at this point, I have my completed jungle item. I am trying to find a fight, find an opportunity to get my red form, because they have three champs who are going to be stacking armor. I want to be pretty tanky, and so I'm just clearing towards bot, hoping for a fight to break out. Ahri shows on this ward, and I run straight down there for this fight. And I ult right as Warwick ults. That's kind of a little bit lucky. You might call it skill, but I think it was just pretty lucky timing. We get a huge team fight win with the Shin ultimate. We just had all of our cooldowns available. Now I saw Warwick leave with most of his health up, and so I went straight into counter jungling mode. I don't need to push into that turret, and he's on his Krugs. I was going to take them, but he shows up there, and I end up getting the kill just because he greeds for it. So now I'm 2 levels ahead of him. I am, man, I think 1,300 gold ahead. So it's a really big swing at this point. Then I reset here, quite a bit of gold that I'm sitting on, and I'm going to come back out for the Drake that's spawning. Also, I got my red form, so that's a huge advantage that I have at this point in the game. So here we get the Drake. It's not really contestable for them, just with how far ahead I am. We also have the control ward. We have the scuttle crab, so we have a lot of control here. And I go straight back into counter jungling. Pick up the raptors, and I'm waiting for Malzahar ult to come up, looking that we might be able to dive the Ahri, because I have ultimate. If he has ultimate and Thresh is around, this should be a pretty easy kill to pick up. And so he hits, or he has 6, but then it's about to tick over, and then she ults towards him for whatever reason, but he knows that he can ult right away. It's a pretty straightforward kill. Warwick comes in as well, but we have 3. Really good hook by the Thresh there. He tries to ult me. I ult in response, and he just dies, and it looks a little bit int. And again, I don't spend too much time on the turret. I just go straight into counter jungling. They don't need my help hitting that turret. So I walk up through, and we can get more plates easily here because it has less resistances. And so I just come up. I help Shin push in this next wave as well. He pings for it. And then I'm just looking basically to farm. There's no major objectives up right now. Malphite shows up again in the top. Warwick shows down there, kind of positioning around Drake. And so I counter jungle his top side. Both the top laners TP down to the bot side, and so I use that opportunity because I can't possibly walk across the whole map. So I go up into top lane, and I just push to get more turret plates and to counter jungle a little bit more. So yeah, I get an extra plate right here with this really big wave that we're denying from them. Then I smite the Ahri so that I can ult away, juke the charm, and I'm out. And so it's basically 2 free plates, and then I got a blue buff. I also got that Gromp that was there. Now I have all my camps up, so I'm farming, and I'm almost to level 11. And so instead of backing right here, I wait to see if Ahri is going to shove this wave, and she does crash it. And so instead of backing, I just come out here so I can hit level 11, and this golden XP gets picked up by somebody instead of just dying to the turret. And then I eat a little bit of poke, but it doesn't matter because I'm just backing off of that. I had 2,600 gold to spend, so I was on the map for quite a while. I got my cleaver, then I also got Merc treads because they do have a lot of CC between Set, Malphite, Ahri, Varus, Warwick. They all have crowd control, and so it's a really good pickup for me if I'm going to be a effective frontliner. Now I'm pretty strong at this point. I have 2 items plus my boots. I was feeling confident to go for this Ahri. I missed my W, so I have to play more defensively. Then she steps up again. I have ult. Warwick misses. And then they just misplay that a little bit. I do have to flash out, but we end up turning it as Drake is about to spawn. So Warwick's wrong place, wrong time. We're waiting for cooldowns here because I don't have my ultimate and I don't have the smite for a bit, so we're just kind of taking the Drake a little bit slowly. And then we position more forward, and I see the Ahri backing. I go to cancel it, but this is pretty greedy, not having my ultimate up. My team did everything that they could. Shen ult, the lantern, but it was a misplay. And if I had ult up, I think we could have won that. But without my ult, it's just a play that I shouldn't have gone for. So it's not all sunshine and rainbows in this gameplay. My team does a good job of backing up, not letting the Malphite engage. And then I am back up, still pretty far ahead, 2.8k ahead of the Warwick. And I begin to just go back into farming, and then I group when my team is looking like there's going to be a fight. So we get to pick on Ahri, and then we're positioning around the mid turret in case a fight breaks out. There's not really much else for me to do that's super important. The Warwick goes after the Malzahar, but then we're able to chase him down. I'm 2 levels up. He's pretty weak. Then the Set dodges E to be able to get out there, and it's pretty difficult for them to come back at this point. More counter jungling if there's nothing else on the map. Mid lane is probably going to go down, and it's not a huge deal. I'm just farming more, and they try to chase me, dodge the Ahri charm, and after that they pretty much don't have anything else to follow up. And the Malphite misses the ultimate, and then it leads off to a fight. This is a really well played fight for us. Everybody is present. Tristana goes in. You get the double knockup, and then this just enables our Baron. So that was kind of the culmination of all the small leads that we had. Ended up with a really easy team fight execution. And now Drake is coming up. So I'm farming. I'm trying to get my death stance, which is I'm sitting on quite a bit of gold. It would have been better to reset before this Drake, but so Shen played it really well. Warwick misses the ult. And then our re-engage is just really strong. After they use their team fight tools, we're able to follow up and just clean up their entire team. Still have ultimate. Warwick's dead. And then this ends up just being the that good old FF at 24 minutes. And so we were able to snowball it. I ended up being about 4K, almost 5K ahead of the Warwick at the end of it. 90 CS advantage. And so this was, I just think, a really good gameplay example, really relying a lot on farming and clever pathing to take the enemy jungler out of the game. So if you like this video, please leave a comment, subscribe, let me know that this is really helpful for you, and I'd love to make more content like it, talking about my decision making as I go through a game. So I will see you all next time.
This is the boy I am.